Hello everyone and welcome to the Week 21 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start in Seattle, where Obafemi Martins is always in the middle of the action. It's the 29th minute and he's chasing this through ball in the box. Rapids keeper Clint Irwin comes out to challenge, and although the video is not crystal clear, it looks like he nicks Martins' left leg. But it's not enough to trip him. In fact, Martins takes another step and then dives. Will the disciplinary committee step in on this one? Maybe another one for the committee in the 16th minute in Montreal. Does Dallas midfielder Javon Watson intentionally lower his right foot into the face of Montreal defender Jabrovski while both were on the ground following this challenge? It looked to me like Watson could have avoided that contact. And how about the 84th minute? Eric Hasley's kick at Montreal's Davy Arnault will also surely be under scrutiny for potential additional discipline. Moving to Chicago and the Fire's rout of DC United. The fourth goal came on a PK, but did Quincy Amarikwa embellish a bit here? DC defender Daniel Wooler does get both arms on Amarikwa, trying to slow him down, but it doesn't look like enough to bring him down. Now, their legs may have made contact, which is not clear from the video, but on first glance it looks to me like Amarikwa threw himself to his knees. Good job by referee Edvin Jurasevich in Columbus for not falling for this dive by Crew defender Chad Barson, who was barely touched by New England's Chad Barrett in the box. Barrett knows it and immediately takes exception with Barson. But on the other end, I thought Crew defender Danny O'Rourke clearly committed a foul in the box on Dimitri Mbongo after testing the elasticity of his shorts. Jurasevich did not call it. Staying in the Eastern Conference and BMO Field in Toronto, plenty of interesting decisions facing the officiating crew in this one. First, in the 10th minute, it looked to me like Richard Eckersley committed a handball in the box on this shot by Johnny Steele. Referee Jorge Gonzalez doesn't call it. Just moments later, two goals were called back for offside, one on each side of the field. First, it was Toronto's Jeremy Brockie touching a cross into the back of the net, but although TFC manager Ryan Nelson said that he was, quote, onside by a mile, the replay shows he's clearly offside. Good call by assistant referee Gianni Facchini, who was a late replacement after the original AR had his flight canceled. To the other end of the field, and Tim Cahill thinks he scored on a header for New York, but this time it's bench-side assistant Claudio Badea raising the flag. This is a bang-bang call, and a tough one at that, but the freeze frame shows that Cahill is on by the slightest of margins. To the 21st minute, and Brockie hits the ground with New York defender Marcus Holgerson on his back. Here too, Nelson called this one, quote, blatant, but it looks more like a dive to me, and the referee was in great position to see it. Nelson should be thankful there wasn't a PK called against his team after a second dubious incident in the Toronto box. This time it's the 39th minute and Ashton Morgan clatters into Eric Alexander, who has position on the defender. That looked like a foul to me. And the last play from this one, the Red Bulls' Peggy Luyindala runs onto this through ball in the 84th minute, and although the angle is tricky, the Frenchman is slightly ahead of Eckersley, and Facchini, the late replacement AR, was in great position to flag it. I think Facchini has earned himself some more MLS games. If you thought there was plenty to review in that game, wait until you see the next two Western Conference matchups we have for you. We start in LA, where the officiating crew had to rule on a goal line clearance in the 6th minute. They didn't award the goal, and I think they got it right. It looks like Caps defender Brad Rusin clears this header in time. To the 29th minute, and what I feel is the call of the weekend. Far side assistant Jeremy Hansen flags for an offside after LA's Jose Villarreal scores. But the question comes down to whether Gyasi Zardes heads the ball to Villarreal. If he does make contact, then Villarreal is offside. Referee Chris Penso confers with Hansen, and after initially waving off the goal, they get it right. And this is so hard. We can barely tell from the television replay if Zardes headed it. That's a tough call to reverse, and credit to the refs for doing the right thing. Later in the 52nd minute, I thought Penso was a little too lenient on Vancouver's June Marcus Davidson. He gives him a yellow for this late tackle on Pablo Mastroeni, but look at how he plants his studs into Mastroeni's ankle when he had no chance for the ball. That could have been an ankle breaker, endangering the safety of his opponent? You betcha! Red card! Lastly, we end with the controversial match between Real Salt Lake and Sporting Kansas City, which had RSL manager Jason Kreis up in arms at the end of the game. Kreis was critical of referee Matthew Forster for lack of consistency in this one, and he looks to have a case. To start, there's no doubt about the second yellow to Kreis's left back, Chris Winger, in the 66th minute. He prevents a Sporting attack by pulling back Soony Saad along the sideline. You can maybe argue that the red to Winger came 66 minutes too late. This blindside shoulder into Kai Kamara's head would have gotten the red card treatment if it wasn't 5 seconds into the game. But just 10 minutes after Ringert's red card, and this is where Kreis has a case, there should have also been a second yellow card to Kansas City's Oriol Rosell, who dishes this gratuitous kick to RSL's Javier Morales. And if not there, Rosell probably could have received a second yellow in the 92nd minute after once again going in hard on Morales. Sporting KC had a gripe of their own in this one. Early in the second half, Claudio Bieler looks like he's thrown down to the ground in the box by Lavelle Palmer. This game came down to the very end, and a corner kick headed home by Ike Opara. But the corner kick came nearly a minute and a half past the 5 minutes of stoppage time allotted. That was a little too much to me, even when you take into account the stoppages in added time. We're out of stoppage time too. That's all we have for this week. See you next time.